What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burd Files podcast. I'm here today with Lucas Silva, an artist, a rapper, a musician, whatever you want to put him under, he's there. And this is actually our second interview that we're doing. Unfortunately, the first one hasn't made it up yet. But with that being said, I'll hand it off to you, man.
What's up, guys? I'm LucSilvs. I'm an artist from Houston, Texas. Been making music for 5 years now and don't plan to stop anytime soon.
Yeah. And I've been friends with you for I'd say 3 or 4 years now, and
Yeah.
I was kind of there when you not like when you first started, but kind of when people started kind of attracting to you a little bit, right? And so what kind of got you into music? Like, why did you say, you know what, Lucas Silva is going to start making beats. Lucas Silva is going to start singing, creating music, as opposed to all of the other things that are out there that you could have done.
Yeah, for sure. I was always very into music, all types of music, and especially rap music. I started getting into right before my move to Houston, around 8, 9, and it really just took me by storm. Started listening to like Eminem, and then I was like maybe 11, and I was messing around with my dad's Mac and saw GarageBand on there. Started messing around, making a couple beats here and there, and then got my own computer and finally discovered what Logic Pro was, and that's when I really started working, making beats. And I started making beats at 12, and I think as soon as I started hearing like, okay, I'm not completely horrible at this, I just took it and ran with it.
Yeah. And when did you first put your first sample or your first music onto, to the public?
First music probably around 7th, 8th grade. I started releasing some of my beats because I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning, I was like, okay, I think this is progress, but nobody's gonna want to hear this. But when I started making stuff that people would actually enjoy listening to, it was probably 8th grade.
Yeah. And so you started out on SoundCloud, right? Under the name Stocky. And you did a lot of, beats primarily is what you did. So now you've evolved kind of, right? Not only are you making your own beats, but you're also singing on songs, releasing, you're releasing music with you as the lead singer.
Yeah.
And many times the only singer. When did that kind of evolution, that transformation happen where you just said, you know what, I'm not only a producer, I can also be, a singer or a rapper?
I had also started, doing some vocals in 8th, 9th grade, but it wasn't where the talent was, wasn't really where the talent was at the time. I was definitely way better at making beats than jumping on them. But I'd say around sophomore year, um, I released a remix to Kodak Black's "Roll in Peace." I'm like, whoa, this could be what I want to do now. You know, transfer kind of my passion and my energy towards becoming the song instead of just laying the foundation for it.
Okay, interesting. And you talked, going back to how you were used to be Stocky and now you're LucSilvs, right? um I When I think about it, Stocky is the producer and LucSilvs is like the artist, right? And that's
Yeah,
not to say that producers are not artists, but when I think, musical artist, I think, the people who are, on the track singing, and producer, that's like its own thing, that are also extremely respected. But
yeah.
what caused this name change, right? I mean, you definitely did change kind of your entire, um, process, and I don't want to say process, but your music did change a little bit when you started singing and on the beats, and just like the production, right? So
Mhm.
what went into the name change essentially?
So the name change was around April of 2019. It was my junior year, um, and I decided like I'm done being scared of hiding what I truly want to do. Why do I have this alias? guarding me from it. Like I might as well just take it on, embody it. So it's still still technically not my real name, but it's still that's still me. I don't have to have a nickname to go by. So I just took on that, and from there, I feel like my music is just it can't even be compared to before that.
So when you were Stocky, right? When you were just the producer,
Oh
you
yeah.
you created a couple of beats that did pretty well on SoundCloud. You got some traction on SoundCloud. And now that you're LucSilvs, you've been creating more, putting yourself out there more. How much of that traction that you were getting as Stocky, as just a producer, has transferred over? Like, are you getting the same amount of numbers, the same love? Like, what's happening now?
Yeah. So as hard to believe as it is, the SoundCloud community and the streaming platform community are two very diverse families. You like the SoundCloud rap wave really is very different because it's a lot more experimental, and it's more like anybody can have their sound and put it out there. And so that being said, it's a lot easier to gain recognition on SoundCloud because you'll get these recommendations from these small underground artists, whereas you really won't see that on these other streaming platforms. Like you'll get like your Discover Weekly playlist on Spotify, but that's nobody. Like you will never get somebody with less than maybe 50,000. Like they'll already have something to their name. On SoundCloud, you could find somebody with like 200 listens on their song, excuse me, and they could be the next big thing. That's happened with a lot of artists. Um, but the numbers, I wouldn't say it's the same audience listening to my stuff, but the numbers were still definitely up there. I don't know, could be some of the SoundCloud people, um, but I think since the name switch, I've been completely off of SoundCloud. Um, but the songs that did well on SoundCloud are still on these platforms. You know, I think the ones that have done the best have not received the same love. Um, just because nobody's gonna go look at the description and be like, "Oh, I could listen to this on something else." So
Yeah. And so, you just kind of touched on you're not really in the SoundCloud world anymore. You're focusing more on these bigger streaming websites.
yeah,
Why is that? Right? You definitely have evolved, and like you talked about, there's definitely a community on SoundCloud who is open to just listening to whatever pops up, right? So
absolutely, yeah.
how come you've you know put less energy into SoundCloud, as you've continued on?
The label SoundCloud rapper is blazoned on everybody who tries to make music. Oh, you're a SoundCloud rapper. Like you rap about drugs and killing people and having sex and all that. That's what they label as SoundCloud rapper. And I'm like, I don't I don't rap about any of those. So like I kind of wanted to stray away from that label. But I do love SoundCloud as a platform. Without it, I would have never been able to put out music.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to stray away and build a more um, professional outlook on my music because I take it seriously. It's not, it wasn't just a SoundCloud hobby. Um, so basically that I just wanted to become more professional, I guess.
Got you. That makes sense. And speaking of it being you take this seriously.
Yeah.
I've seen the work ethic and the amount of time that you put into your music. When did this stop being just a fun thing you did on your dad's computer? Just messing around on Logic Pro. When did it stop being this hobby and turn into something that you saw as maybe I could do something with this?
Um, I'd say definitely with the release of my first EP, When the Sun Sets. Dropped that June 1st of 2019, beginning of the summer. Before that, I was just putting stuff out for people to listen to. Nobody, I was just, okay, here, y'all want to listen to it? Just listen to it. I was comfortable with just people I know and like, just having stuff out there for, local, local attention, I guess. Then once I dropped that EP, um, damn, it was the wildest summer of my life, I guess, in terms of like eye-opening stuff. I did put a lot of money into promo for it. Got some big pages promoting it, and some of my friends as well. And it gained so much traction, and I started getting so much more attention, even from you know local people who usually didn't show their support. It wasn't that they were against it, but they would never show their full-fledged support for it. Um, Text messages from my close friends like, "Wow, Lucas, like I haven't heard you do this before. This is amazing." And then some people I was, acquaintances with really reaching out to me and being like, "Hey, this is crazy. Like what you're doing here, that's crazy. That's not what you usually do." And, you know, might sound corny, but that overflow of support from something I hadn't, gotten before, uh, really, really opened my eyes. So yeah.
And what differentiated this EP When the Sun Sets so much from what you had done before that drew people to it, in your opinion?
Um, I'd say the first thing would be definitely production quality. Um, I had gotten extremely better at mixing and mastering my own music, which I still do to this date. Um, and I guess I could make. That's when I started learning about versatility and how I can make different styles of music sound good together. Um, and the overall, switch, because before When the Sun Sets, I dropped, those hard banger type songs. And then this was my first take at some like melodic type music, pop, kind of pop rap. Um, and, it took people, I think it kind of swept people off their feet when they kind of heard that happen. And yeah.
Okay. And so this definitely was one of the biggest things that you've done. Like if you go on your Spotify discography,
Discography. Yeah.
discography, your those songs are up there in your top like five. Some of them are, I think all of them have at least 1,000 plays, and those are your top five most listened to songs. What doors did this open for you professionally? Moving forward into the music business, like did you get any? What came to you after this EP?
Um, definitely since I did put a lot of money into promo, I was able to reach some bigger people. I met some great friends out of it. Shout out Weston. He had a big Instagram page and he noticed it, and now he does promo for me whenever I need it for free because we just created a bond off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from just notice from a little some higher people in the industry, I guess it also created more more of a backing for me because originally I was putting stuff out for myself. I was like, I like this, you guys can listen to it if you want. And now people are like, we want to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But I wish I had executed the couple of months after the EP drop a little better. I kind of didn't drop stuff and let people just, chew on that for a while. And I think if I had just been more consistent, that would have been it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, kind of this most recent project that you dropped, or just not even just the project, but the music since When the Sun Sets, you've talked about how it's different than When the Sun Sets, right? And you
Oh
even
yeah.
posted how, this next upcoming stuff it's not going to sound like When the Sun Sets. So how come you moved away from that pop rap kind of music and what would you categorize what you're doing now as opposed to When the Sun Sets?
Um, so I actually had a little mindset, to grab people's attention. They don't want to hear about your personal stuff. They don't care about that. They want a tune that's catchy and they can, sing along to. that's basically what I'd say When the Sun Sets is. You know, it's that music you can hear and you're like, okay, this is a catchy song. It's a catchy poppy song, you know. And then once I saw that it got support and I have some backing, I could actually drop something meaningful, you know, something that I can talk about, you know, personal experiences through. And when I posted like, oh, this is not going to sound like When the Sun Sets, I knew what I was doing because Monochrome, that was my gateway into being like, okay, here, here I am, I guess. And rather telling a story than just random songs in an EP, I guess.
Yeah. And speaking of Monochrome, personally, like we've had some conversations, right, where you've talked about some regrets of the timing of it, and just the overall kind of um, I'm struggling to find the word here. I think timing is the best way to sum it up. What do you think you could have done better in terms of just releasing it and promotion? Like what because how is it doing now, and how much better do you think it could have done if you had um, handled it better in your point of view?
Um, I think, yeah, the timing. Uh, I obviously needed time to work and perfect an album. You know, from When the Sun Sets to Monochrome is exactly 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wish I had put out like singles or more in between, so I wouldn't lose that pull from some of the people. Like, oh, he dropped an album, I completely forgot about him. You know, um, it's just I feel like I had lost the momentum. But nevertheless, first night, Monochrome did 5,000. I was like, wow, that's pretty surreal. And it's cool scrolling through Instagram, seeing they reposted it on their story, and I like repost, add it to my story. I love that. And as far as promo goes, I really didn't put money into promoting Monochrome. Um, I definitely think I should have when it dropped, but you know what? I was like, okay, those who want to listen to this, they can listen to it. And I thought I was doing well enough, but some promo could have been cool. It's still doing all right. People still really enjoy it. They text me like, this song is really good. I still have this in my playlist. My parents love this song. Um, and for right now, I guess that's all I could ask for. You know, I can't expect my first album to, go fucking Billboard.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I completely get it. And so we've covered it already. Two very different kind of styles of music between When the Sun Sets and your more recent stuff, right? And obviously, you're a very avid listener of music, and so who were some inspirations that you kind of took aspects from going into When the Sun Sets, and then how did that change and evolve when you created Monochrome?
inspiration for When the Sun Sets, heavy, 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 heavy posty, like heavy posty inspiration. His summary, like fun songs, people love those. Although most of Post music is not happy, and like, it's definitely, there's some emotional songs in there, like, but I just combined like basically his style of music. I was like, decided to go with that. Um, but as for Monochrome, I tried not to base it off of other people's sounds. That's why there's such different songs in there. Like, Watch Your Six is probably the most diverse song I've ever released ever. If anything, it's more of a rock song than a rap song. Um, whereas like Waterfalls, that's a completely internet money type song. And so, I'm not taking inspiration from other people. I'm just putting everything that I'm feeling into that one song,
Mhm.
into the other song, And as long as they sound good together, you know, that's my sound. I think Monochrome is completely my sound. Um, and I feel like others could agree with me. I feel like there's some songs that are like, you know, you could kind of, you know, relate this to this person, but it's still very unique. Um, and I think that I met my goal as far as that, you know, show people my sound, who I am, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Um, so kind of moving on from, just solely, when the sun sets in Monochrome, um, we've talked about, you take this seriously, right? And obviously when you think about artists and music, you think about labels. And
Mm.
so where are you at in terms of, labels? Is there anything going on? Have you signed anywhere? What is, the business side of everything look like for you right now?
As of right now, this current moment, I'm completely independent, um, and I like that as far as it goes right now. You know, I hadn't always thought that. You know, we've had altercations in the past. We've had contracts. You know, we've gone through all that. But as of right now, we're talking me being my own artist. You know, um, and I'd love for it to stay that way. I'd love to be my own boss, for as long as I can. And you know, if the right ears hear me, then that's how it's gonna be. You know, um, some big inspiration from Russ comes to mind. This man's completely independent. You know, he makes so much money, and it's all his. You know, he doesn't have to pay 80% of his profits to any record label. Russ, people can hate him all he wants, but he's a smart ass like businessman, rapper. You know, like that mindset and that path he made for himself is very inspiring to me, and I'd love to do the same thing.
Yeah. And so we just talked about it earlier. You were talking to me about previously in one of our other interviews. You talked about how you and some of your homies were coming together and kind of collaborating and working on uh, kind of your own label kind of thing. If I'm not mistaken, is that still going on? And what are you guys kind of doing with that now?
Oh yeah, it's been going on forever. Will go on. You know, even if we're not making music together, we'll still be friends. I was with him today actually. That's the group we call Black Waves Entertainment. Um, each of us, working on our different music, but we collaborate and support each other to basically help. You know, if one of us takes off, we bring the whole team with us. Um, but we're not a group. You know, we're not Migos.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like, yeah, it's not a group. It's just a collective, I'd say, and we're individuals working together.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
And a little bit earlier on, you told me that you guys, I don't know if it's you specifically or you and Black Waves Entertainment signed an artist. So kind of walk me through how this artist decided to go with you as opposed to, I don't know, maybe something else, or just kind of how it all came to be.
Yeah. So this was only me. You
Okay.
know, this is my own thing. An artist who goes by Hunter. You know, he uh, he got in contact with me and he's like, "Hey, I have a mutual friend, and your music is absolutely insane. Like, I'd love to get to work with you." I'm like, "Yeah, like I've seen some of your stuff. You know, you're pretty talented as well." And he hadn't previously released music, and I was like, "Okay, I see potential in you. You know, I'm not the biggest person myself, but you know what? I can help give you the potential to release music, you know?" And so I was like, all right, it's not really a signing. I'm not gonna take money
Hmm.
from that artist. I'm not gonna, require them to drop anything. I'm just simply helping them achieve what they want to do, which is release music. You know, I was that kid. I was that kid once too. You know, we're the same. We're the same age. You know, it's not like little kid, little father. It's just a welcoming like approach into music, because I was lost for a long time. I couldn't just rapidly release music. And so I'm like, hey, I can help you release music. Like, call it a sign. Like, you're not my artist, but you know, you're one of my artists. Like, that I'm gonna help push and achieve what you want to do. Um, and so that's been really cool. He's been very consistent. You know, he makes songs every day, and yeah, he basically, I keep him on the same track I go on. You know, I do weekly drops. I'm like, okay, do some weekly drops, and you know, he's got even more songs ready to drop than I do, and so it's like, it's absolutely mind blowing. But yeah, shout out to Hunter.
Yeah. So it's like a mentorship, you know, despite the equivalence in age, you're just kind of
Yeah,
helping him kind of, you know, get through the first few bumps of this music rocky road.
yeah,
At least
absolutely.
how I see it. Yeah. So kind of talk to me about these weekly drops that you just kind of mentioned here. Um, that's not something you see many people do, is just put out music every week, because obviously it's a difficult, it takes a long time to create something that you know is truly, you know, people want to listen to, right? But you've done it. Like I love to listen to what you do, but you know, when you look at the bigger artists, you see them take sometimes years to release music. So what goes into you deciding, you know what, I'm going to drop weekly as opposed to drop, wait, drop?
Um, the thing with me wanting to drop weekly, it started not too long ago. I'd say maybe a month and a half ago, started doing that. Um, and basically, it stemmed from the idea that, you know, if I wait too long to drop, people will forget who I am. And that's the biggest motivator there is. And um, I definitely think quality over quantity. But in this case, if you can combine the two, why the fuck not? You know? And I know that I can make music, that I can drop every week that people will like. That's just me, you know. I wouldn't call that cockiness. I'd say that, you know, that's just me. That's what makes me different as an artist.
That's
Like,
confidence.
it's, yeah, and that's, you know, I try to keep that in mind. You know, if I want to show people that I'm different, you know, does your favorite rapper drop every single week? No, he doesn't. You know, but I do. You might like some of it. If you don't like all of it, listen to last week's. You
Hmm.
know, or wait for next week's.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like those calendars. You know, each day you open it, you get a little gift. I don't know what they're called. I forgot what they're called. Anyway, but yeah, like, it's just something for people to look forward to, I guess. Oh, next week's drop, let's go, let's see what it is. You know, they already know. And I blast all my social medias with it. You know, I don't want people to forget. Yeah, I want them to see that I'm working. um, and yeah, I think that consistency is key. You know, and it's, you know, of course, something I regret not doing earlier, but yeah.
So what goes into the behind the scenes of that? Because I know, like, to make a good song like you do, there's so much that goes into it. Production, like songwriting. How often are you in the studio? How often are you just sitting there brainstorming? I mean, what is the time process? Like, what is the creative process that goes into just boom, 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 constantly creating music?
um so it's actually really funny. The first track that I dropped, What's the Move? Um, you know, this is the first one I can confidently say, like, you know, I could have done a little better on this one. You know, I could have put a little more into it. You know, it's definitely a very, you know, meaningful song. Definitely something that, you know, I loved making. But since then, I was like, okay, let's do weekly drops. And with that song, Um, the day that I recorded that song, I started, gathering beats, gathering more ideas, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and execute this. And the next day, I wrote "Sacrifice," which dropped the next week. Recorded it that day, finished it, and then after that, I recorded "Yesterday," which was the week after that. And so I try not to wait until one drops to record and do the next one. I try to make them like as soon as possible, so that I can just have them there, like waiting to release, and then just get back to it. And like you said, like how often am I in the studio? Being as it is my bedroom, um, I can basically be in it whenever I'm not working, whenever I have free time. Um, and so it doesn't take me that long to make a song. So it's not a worry of mine that I won't ever get to make a song whenever I want to. Um, but yeah, the only thing I hate is writer's block when I can't write a song, when no ideas are coming. Fuck writer's block. All my homies hate writer's block.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like it's amazing that you're able to just keep pumping them out because you see, I have other friends who create music and it's super tough for them to put something together that just works for them, right? It's
Hmm.
like they can put something on paper, but they can't get over their own thoughts and feelings of it. They're scared to release it, right? And so, I've heard from some bigger artists, like you should never, if you have something and like never second guess yourself, put it out there. For you, has there ever been something like that where you've written a song and you couldn't get out of your own head, so you didn't release it, or is that something that you've just kind of, you know, that doesn't happen with you?
That used to happen a lot, before I was before I had released projects. Mainly because I was scared of other people's, opinions. Like, I don't really put out music. Like, they're gonna clown me for this or whatever. Now that I've dropped, projects and singles, like, and this ties to like everyday life too. If people don't like what you're doing, you know, that's their problem. Like, if I want to put this out, I'm gonna put it out. I know there's gonna be someone out there who likes it. Um, and that tends to be the case. So I got out of my own head by realizing that if I don't put it out, nothing will happen.
Mhm.
If I do, you know, there's a shot. Um, some people might not like it. Cool, but like there's at least a shot.
Yeah. And I feel like that there's definitely like it takes a little bit of time to get there, right? Because everybody
Oh,
when they
for
start
sure, a
something,
couple of years.
yeah, yeah. Um, so what are you working on now? Obviously I can assume that the next weekly song is at the top of your mind, and that's been something you've been working on. But what else do you have going on? Right now that you've been working on.
Right now, I'm in the phases of planning a video shoot for my most recent release, 23. Um, I'm going off to college in about a month. I want to have something special to release. Um, and I think that this would be perfect. 23 has gotten um, a lot of support recently. A lot of people like personally tell me like, "Whoa, like you outdid yourself on this." Like, it's not really what you're used to dropping, but like I loved it.
Mm.
And I think it'd just be a really fun song to do a video to, in my city before I leave. Just like a little token.
Yeah.
So that's basically what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and and so moving on from that, what is I've seen on your Instagram on your Instagram page, sometimes before you release a video or on your story, you'll see powered by Silvs, right? Or on your YouTube topics page, when there's a song, it'll have powered by Silvs. What exactly is that?
So Powered by Silvs is basically me combining all my multimedia aspects. I make all my own cover art. I edit videos. I do promo videos for myself, a bunch of graphic design stuff, as well as my production and, my releases and such. And that basically started when I brought Hunter on. I was like, okay, we're gonna learn how to kind of generalize all this. How can I throw this together? And so Hunter and another artist who is not really, he's doing his own thing, but he's still part of Powered, is Kill Silos. That's another one of my homies there. And basically us three are just, I can send them out cover art. They can send me songs. It's basically my own version of Black Waves condensed into, my different multimedia channels. In no means is it like meant to keep like them separate at all. But it's just a way that I can help put my experience somewhere into that, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so to just kind of cap everything off here, who are some people that that you would be interested in collabing with, maybe down the line in the future? And where do you see yourself? Obviously, you're going to college, but where do you see yourself, musically in the music world in the next 3 to 4 years?
Next 3 or 4 years, I hope there's a little breakthrough. And I feel like that might be sooner rather than later, with certain plans I have in mind. I plan to do more work on promo, getting heard by the right people, because I know that if I get heard by the right people, I have a chance at making it, because I know that I have the talent. I know that I have that uniqueness, and so I hope that there's something there. Obviously music is my passion, and I'd love to be able to continue pursuing it. As far as collaborators go, if I could somehow get Travis Scott to collaborate with me one day, I would be complete. Probably my number one inspiration ever. Being from Houston, his influence is all around us, and so I'm just captivated by how he was able to make it out. And I'm like, I take a lot of stuff from his music as well, and use it as fuel. Him definitely. Jack Harlow. Shoot, who else would be? St. John. I'd love to have a collab with St. John. He's started coming up recently off TikTok. His song Roses got a remix. All the TikTokers started dancing to it, and I've been with St. John since like 2017, since he started dropping music, and from there I've just been absolutely blown away by how like versatile he is. So that'd be a cool feature to have too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you got going on that you just kind of want to drop in here? Any future releases?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We already know that.
Ritz-Carlton dropping next week.
Ritz-Carlton. You heard it here first, folks. Ritz-Carlton.
Yes,
all right.
Sir.
So just go ahead and plug your Instagram, plug your Spotify, plug all of your platforms, and I'll throw up a graphic here and yeah, shoot it.
All right. So my Instagram is at LucSilvs. Spotify is LucSilvs. My Apple Music is LucSilvs. Basically, you can find me anywhere at LucSilvs. Um, give my music a listen. I don't think you'll regret it.
LucSilvs. Go check them out. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Lucas, for hopping on with me. And hope you have a good night.
Of course, bro. Thank you for having me.
For sure.